Donald Trump might be the next president of the United States. It's sad to say. But if he is, it's not going to be because of his political knowledge or his ability to make accurate political predictions. It's going to be based on a secret weapon, a voting bloc that he knows is on his side. Let's watch.
I have great relationship with the Mexican people. I have many people working for me. You can look at the job in Washington. I have many legal immigrants working for me. Many of them come from Mexico. They love me. I love them. And I'll tell you something. If I get the nomination, I'll win the Latino vote. I will win it because I'm going to create jobs. Hillary Clinton is not going to be able to create jobs. I will tell you right now. Neither is Jeb Bush going to be able to create jobs. I will create jobs, and the Latinos will have jobs that they don't have right now, and I will win that vote.
I love that he is now pitching himself as the man who will say to Latin Americans, "You're hired," when he is known, as someone mentioned before the show, for firing people constantly. Yeah. To be fair, he was opening up jobs every time that he fired someone. So yes, the political prediction I was talking about is he will win the Latino vote. We now turn to political correspondent Ana Kasparian. Will he win the Latino vote?
I've done extensive research on this, and it seems as though there's a great amount of disdain toward Donald Trump by the Latino community. He is so oblivious, and I kind of love it because his ego is so huge that he's unaware of what the reality is. And for him to say, I have lots of Latino people that work under me, they love me, and I love them. I just call them rapists sometimes.
Exactly.
He's just oblivious. There's really nothing more to it. And I think the saddest part of that video is when he picked on his opponents, Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton, for not being able to create new jobs, or he thinks that they won't be able to create new jobs. It made me realize that as it stands now, the leading candidates for the next president of the United States are disastrous, right? So his competitors, Jeb Bush, not so great. Hillary Clinton, that's a person who's on our side, supposedly, not so great.
Yeah.
Right? Considering the policies that she's been in favor of, which include not regulating the banking system and not doing what needs to be done in terms of corporate tax loopholes and things like that, it makes me realize things are either going to continue on this downward spiral, or if we go with Jeb Bush or Donald Trump, it's going to go through that downward spiral at a more rapid pace. It's disastrous. So that was both funny and depressing at the same time.
Yeah. I think you're being a little bit unfair to Hillary Clinton. Because as of right now, the only thing we know about Hillary Clinton is that she refuses to answer questions about any of her policy positions.
True, and that is a really good sign
if she
gets elected, right? The lack of transparency is a great thing.
Yeah, I think that if you have really good ideas for this country, you want to keep them to yourself for a while, I think. Don't actually, like Bernie Sanders, say things that the American people can rally behind and then come to your rallies and rally around you. It seems to be working for him. Maybe Hillary Clinton should look into that. Yes, and as you point out, he attacks Jeb Bush there. I do find it interesting that each one of the Republican potential nominees has chosen one of their opponents to attack every time.
Right.
Like Chris Christie will hit Ted Cruz, and then Ted Cruz will hit Rand Paul, and they each, I guess it's from focus groups or political advisors, each of them thinks that one of them is their prime opponent. I got news for all of you, man. You're all a bunch of chuckleheads. And you're each, Donald Trump right now is actually leading in polls in some of the states. He's second to Jeb Bush in some, he's first in others. But this should not surprise us. We've seen this go. The last presidential election we had, Michelle Bachmann was leading for a week or two.
Herman
Cain. Not Ben Carson, I should say, Herman Cain.
They all look the same to you, don't they?
I hate you so much. Their idiocy is very similar, I think, at least at surface level. They each have their week. God knows it could be Scott Walker, it could be Bobby Jindal some week, it could be Chris Christie. We don't know because they're not really saying anything. The most he'll say there is, I'll create jobs. And that is not a lot of information to go on.
Yes, and there is a lifetime between now and the actual election. Now until the actual primaries. So things could change rapidly, which is why you can look at polling right now, but in the grand scheme of things, current polls don't mean much.
Yeah. And the only one who is actually giving much information about what he would do if he was president is actually Bernie Sanders, who, for some reason, Donald Trump doesn't even feel like he needs to mention there.
Good, though. That's good.
It's probably the best, yes.
Lack of transparency with Hillary Clinton. She won't answer any questions or share what her policy ideas are. Bernie Sanders is drawing larger crowds, and he's very clear about what his policy positions are. The Republican Party is just eating themselves alive. It's awesome.
Yeah, at this point, I can't tell if it's more like a clown car or like some of the scenes from Jurassic World where all the dinosaurs are eating each other. It's savage and it's cannibalistic, but it's also hilarious.
It's hilarious. And every time I see Ted Cruz or Donald Trump speak, dun, 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 that's all I see.